Hello, I am very excited to be here with all of you. This is a very important conversation to be had. I want to just start with a little bit of a snapshot of like when I turn on my Facebook, the first thing that comes to life is these awesome stories of people that have overcome their challenges and are really living life beautifully, and that inspires me. That is gratitude in action that we can see. I want to bring to you the gratefulness that I feel being here on this platform of mompreneurs, and sharing with you the purpose of life. Really, the purpose of life in terms of gratitude. It is so important. Gratitude as a central point or a central focus makes one a happier person. It reduces stress and propels us to a feeling of well-being, which is what our core function is. I am Prakriti Poddar, the global head for mental health and well-being at Round Glass, which is a holistic wellness company. I'm also the managing trustee of the Poddar Foundation, which is based in Mumbai, focused on mental health and providing information, education, and communication around mental health, encouraging people to reach out. In fact, our main topic there is silence Toro. Everything around what we do is based around silence Toro. So I'm very excited to be here, and thank you so much for sending in your messages. I also want you to continue to, as we keep discussing this, I would like you to share your thoughts and ask me questions. I am also a therapist and a tasso regression therapist and an NLP coach and a whole lot of things, of course, an image consultant as well, but you don't need that right now. I mean, this is all about gratitude. And I want to highlight that we have gratitude and we focus on gratitude in all our contexts of life. Our movies, the movies that draw us. I mean, I was just watching the other day because, being in Canada to feel closer to India, I was watching some Hindi movies, and I was watching Kal Ho Na Ho. And I think Aman Mathur, his name was, Shah Rukh Khan's character. He was he was grateful for life. And that was so endearing. His whole outlook was of gratitude, like focus on today, reach out and reach in to what makes today, a place for you to enjoy your life, because kal ho na ho. And I thought that I'd start with that, and then having watched all these celebrities over the years receiving awards, whether it's the Emmy Awards, Oscar Awards, or any kind of award, what do they do when they come on? What do they do? What is the first thing that they do? Is that they thank everybody in their lives. And that is what gratitude is, being thankful. Being thankful brings you in a place of abundance, and that's extremely important. The feeling of abundance is what gives you gratitude. The feeling of abundance is when you're embedded in gratitude because you have enough to give. And this is not monetary. This is emotional. It is in our psyche, in our feelings. And this is not like, what are the 5 steps to being grateful? It's a journey. It's a journey. It's an everyday journey to feel grateful. And that's extremely important. How do we move ourselves to a place of gratitude through an everyday practice? And it is a practice. And anything that's a practice like meditation, yoga, these are things that you don't just attain, you actually work towards so that you can gain expertise as the days go by. What in research, there is, I think, a large body of work that is focused on gratitude and how gratitude brings about peace and harmony in your life through the release of serotonin and dopamine. These are 2 very important neurotransmitters that provide happiness. And I think that when you are focused on gratitude, these 2 chemicals release and encourage you to live a life which is focused on well-being. By well-being, because that's a general term, all I mean is to be in the present, because in the present you are talking about things that you are grateful for. So that is about being in the present, accepting what's happening around you, finding that little silver lining there. It helps you enhance your mood. It helps you understand how to move forward. It helps you kind of take note of the things that bring joy to your life, the littlest things. It doesn't have to be very big. It's not like, oh my God, I received something so great. There was a personal story that took place the other day. I mean, I had a really, really bad day at work. There was a little bit of a misunderstanding, and I was not very happy with that. And I thought, wow, this day is going really badly. And I'm usually a very optimistic person. Optimistic because I embedded in gratitude, and I'll tell you why. So it was going bad. I went to get some, food from the grocery store, and as I got to the counter, the guy said, "Okay, here, this is for you, it's free." And I'm like, "Free?" And I turned to my daughter, who's 8 years old, and I'm like, "It's free." She goes, "Aren't we having a great day?" And I thought, yeah, we are having a great day. I'm going to get to all these questions of like, how do you combat negative thoughts due to pandemic, and I'm going to come to everything, but I'm going to start with like just creating for you the system of the mental health system that we need, and then moving forward to how do we avoid stress. And so you can't avoid stress. I want to rephrase that because you can't avoid stress. It is all around you. The pandemic is creating a huge amount of stress, and it's actually causing extended periods of stress, which is quite detrimental to our well-being. And that therefore we need to keep the practice of gratitude even stronger, and it has to become an everyday practice. I mean, Hebb's law says that neurons that fire together, fire together, wire together. And the most important thing is, how do we wire ourselves for the positive? How do we focus on our own sense of self and our own sense of harmony? Now, when things are out of control, when things are out of control around you, which is like currently everything that is happening around you is out of your control. In life, in general, most things are out of your control. The only thing you can control is your own thought, and that also through practice. Your own observation of life that is taking place around you. It is a very difficult time, but acceptance of that difficult time, because I have this this initiative called the Wellbeing Volunteers United, and all of our initiatives around that, it's a free helpline for people to call when they're in stress or anxiety or have extended periods of feeling low. It is a place where you can call and talk to a volunteer. The first thing we teach our volunteers there is that they cannot give people an assumption that things will get better, and things I'm talking about in the physical world, when COVID will get over, when things will get back to normal. These are not things that we have control over. The only thing we have control over is how we process it. How do we become responsive rather than reactive to it? How do we build that resilience and that skill? And I think this is where we are at this point, building ourselves towards watching our thoughts, watching our feelings, and really creating pathways to do duty. And this takes me back to our ancient tradition. Gratitude is very much been popularized by the West. It's been all about like, let's keep a gratitude journal, write down the good things that have happened to us. I went to a Christian school, and one of the things that we were taught were obviously hymns, but gratitude was a really big part of it. I mean, I remember it's embedded in my head because we used to sing hymns so often, count your blessings, name them one by one, and it'll surprise you what the Lord has done. Then there was another one that was all things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, the good Lord made them all. So basically just always focusing on the good things in life, which are constant. The sun comes up, constant. It becomes dark, constant, so it was all about like, accept the positive things as well. So of course there's a lot of negativity around the current situation, and there's a lot of fear, and our innate wisdom has taught us, from the Bhagavad Gita onwards, has really taught us about Nishkam Karna, which is, duty for duty's sake. At this point in our life, all we can focus on is doing what we can do best. a lot of times when people are affected, the pandemic is all around us, people around us are getting ill, it's very difficult to hold your head above the water. It's very difficult. But if you work towards holding your head above the water, which means focus on the fact that you have the capability to help yourself, or that you have been given the opportunity to help another person, or that you're in a space and a place where you can start working towards, if you have COVID as well, and you know that the only way to get you better is to fight this this illness that you had, you can only do that with a positive state of mind. So you work towards it like you would your illness, like you would for anybody else as well. You keep providing yourself that positivity by giving yourself the notion that it is going to get better. Time and tide heal things, and we progress so much. And it's important for us to be our own mental health advocates at this point. When stress is really, really hard, just use deep breathing. Use the technique of breath work. Use the technique of meditation, guided meditation, because these are the only things that can help you compose yourself. There is no magic pill that will take away the situation around you. The only thing that you can do is really breathe and balance yourself. When the rumination or the negative thoughts or the constant negative thoughts become too grave, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and breathe, because that's the only thing we have in our control, our breath. And that is why even with Round Glass, what we do is really provide you with free content, free meditation and guided meditation through these uncertain times. The uncertain times that you are in, as the word and the sentence defines it, it is uncertain. The only thing that you can do for yourself is utilize what control you have in your life. And that is why gratitude now has been linked to meditation and mindfulness. And studies really have been linked to achieving a positive state of mind through mindfulness and meditation. And we've always, in India, held these practices at our core. We've always held the practices of being in ourselves, of being grounded through our breath work. So we have to take that on. We have to take our culture back and really mobilize action towards it. Of course, there are other skills, there are other things that people have defined that you can do, things like keeping a gratitude journal, writing in your gratitude journal, like on an everyday basis, about the things that you're grateful for. Yes, I took a breath. I woke up, I was fresh, or I woke up alive. I woke up feeling grateful. I'm grateful that my family members, A, B, C, D members are doing well. I'm grateful that so-and-so is recovering well. I'm grateful that I can have something in my life that I can give. And I think that's another point that is important to me. When you are in a place where you can give somebody something, you're already in a state of abundance. And that abundance is something that you must focus on, because it brings about so much gratitude. And I really, like I said, I want you to ask me questions, because this is a difficult period. And to strengthen ourselves, mentally, physically, emotionally, and energetically, we need to focus ourselves on gratitude. We need to focus ourselves on putting the noise and the negativity, not that we push it away, but we work through it. So every time that we look at arriving at peace, we need to push through the pain that we see to get to the other side. You cannot put a band-aid on it and say, okay, I'm feeling really distressed. I put a band-aid on it, and now I'm feeling good because I'm thinking of ABCD thing. You don't do that. You focus on what's making you feel bad. You find the various steps that have caused you to feel bad. Find the one that has the most weight in it and focus on that, because that most weighted negativity can be disengaged through breath work and through the practice of meditation and through the practice of conscious gratitude planning or conscious gratitude development, writing out the things that are even heavy for you, help you release it. And that writing in itself will give you the silver lining. Everything that we are going through in life is a lesson that works towards building us. And to achieve that high frequency of thought, you need to start journaling it. You need to start journaling it, because that spiral, that upward, it takes us upward. It elevates us when we start to understand the frequency of positivity. And that positivity cannot be fake. It means working through the negativity, working through the feelings of negativity to get to a place of positivity. Latika, I like your question. What is the best practice to perform in mindfulness? Start with a simple breath work. Start with just breathing in and out consciously and telling yourself you're okay. Giving yourself the fact that you are there and capable of breathing. Just focus on the breath. Don't do anything else. That's the first step. Focus on the breath. Just focus on the breath, because it takes you into your body. It takes you out of the head. And the moment the thoughts come, one of the things you want to say to yourself is, I see these thoughts, they're coming in, I let them go, I focus on my breath. And you use this kind of conscious guidance, self-guidance. I focus on the thoughts that are coming in, I see it, but I go back to my breath. I can see it, I go back to my breath. That's the most important thing. I see, I recognize, I know you're there, but I go back to my breath. And then you switch to saying, yes, I see, you've come as a guide for me to go back to my breath. So at first you're allowing it, you're not pushing it away. You're saying, yeah, I see you, you're there, you're causing me to feel a certain way, but I focus on my breathing. And then you use that same causal reaction that you would have had to actually trigger you into a state of wellness, right? So first you say things like, I'm repeating it now. You say, I see you, you're there, I know you've come, it's disturbing, but I focus on my breath. And you keep doing that for like 5 to 10 minutes. Then you move on to, I see you, you've come to guide me back. I see you, you've come to guide me back. You use that as a trigger to go back. And then at some point, these thoughts will just come and go and they won't bother you. And I think one of the anecdotes that I always talk about this, even when I'm doing hypnotherapy with people and trying to get them to a state of relaxation, I say to them that you are the train station and not the train of thought. So if you are the train station, your job is to be still. The trains of thoughts will come and go, they'll stop, they may even stop for a long time. And then eventually people get on, people get off, and the train moves. The train station never needs to get onto the train. You have a choice every single day. You have a choice of whether you want to bring yourself on to that platform and be there, or whether you want to be the platform. So you choose to be the platform. That is, the well-being of you will reside in you being the platform and allowing the train to go in and out. Because when you begin to feel like that, when you begin to feel that strength of balance, that rootedness in your own being, then everything that happens around you will happen around you, will happen, doesn't necessarily have to happen to you. When you take ownership of it is when it becomes difficult to overcome that stress. When you say something like, for example, I was talking about my bad day. I said, okay, that is not my issue. It is their issue. It came from them, and I don't need to accept it or own it. I need to process it though, because it has come into my energy space. I need to process it and make sure that I learn whatever I had to learn from it. I tried to pick the value of the lessons that I got. So if it really brought me down, I got to think about why it was really bringing me down. And investigation is the key to success for your own well-being. Every time that something shifts your state of being, investigate it. Investigate why it has shifted. Investigate what that's bringing for you. Investigate how that's depleting you or adding value, and then balance what you need, because you are, like I said, the master of your own destiny. You are the platform. You can be stable as long as you give yourself the capability of questioning and being non-judgmental in that answer. So if it comes to, oh, I'm really upset because my ego is embedded in this and I find it very disrespectful and I'm angry, you then tell yourself on the other hand that that's great, I hear where you're coming from, I see that you need to feel a certain way and that's your need to feel like that. However, it is detrimental to your well-being. What do you hold at the highest level? What do you hold at the highest level? I think that highest level to be held is you being at the core of your well-being. You being at the core of your own right to state your mental health, to keep it in a state that you require it. So state your mental health according to your need and your desire. And you have the capability of doing that. And that's extremely important. And it's needed in all walks of life. These are a few sort of small things just to bring you back to the fact that the more you practice gratitude, the more gratitude embeds itself in your life. The more you focus on doing your everyday life, the more you focus on creating that pathway of well-being, the more you focus on being thankful to the world for what is happening, the more you focused on, when I say what is happening, I do not mean what is happening during this period that is COVID, but I'm talking about what is happening inside of you. The fact that you have the intrinsic capability of moving forward. This is very important. When you define your universe based on your internal capability, it is extremely important for you because you become that master that we're trying to seek in this. So what are some of the tips? I think an important tip for you, for all of us, again, is to practice mindful living, to be in your breath, to be in your truth, to understand that this period is difficult, and through that difficulty, through all that we're facing and going through, no matter how negative it's playing in our head, we cannot change that tide. We can only change ourselves to be able to build our resilience. And the only way to do that is to focus on your own breath, on your own well-being, by utilizing the state of well-being, by making sure that you can focus on your own sense of being. I think let's just take a few questions. Hi Jagrati. Ragini says, citing to the lockdown in our country, how we can ensure our mental well-being where there is no work-life balance. The lockdown is very difficult. It's actually not only in India, it's in a lot of different places. Even in Canada, we haven't gone back to work in our offices, and therefore we have to juggle our life, our family life, and everything else around us. And I have tried to find some positives in that, in the sense of, okay, I'm getting more time with my family. However, I'm also getting to be with the elders, or rather people are getting to be with the elders. I'm not getting to be like, because I'm in Canada and my family's in India. My children are here with me, of course, and it's very difficult. We do work-life balance all the time. It's extremely difficult because there's also a madness that's come about in the workplace where because we're online the whole time, people expect you to be there more than 24/7, and your family expects you to be there because you're at work. The balance is really difficult. But the thing that you can do is use it strategically, making sure that when you are talking about work-life balance, you have a conversation with your family and your loved ones, and you tell them that this is the time that I need to focus on my own work. This is the time that I need. I cannot give it to you. Let's set up boundaries where I know that I can spend time doing the work that you also require, and I have the time doing the work that I need to do in order to provide to the corporate workplace that I am embedded in. Very, very important. Setting boundaries. This is a time that actually, like, as a gratitude practice, I would say that even just recognizing that this is the time that we have as a skill to develop our own practice of personal boundaries, setting that up. We often have, especially in the Indian context, we don't have our personal boundaries. We've never had personal boundaries. We are a system that is like from a joint family system to a community system. We believe in being entrenched in that circle, and that's really important. Having these sanghas or having these communities is very important. But if we need to take that time to do the work that we need to do, to be present in the place that we need to be present, it is very important to have open conversations. Right when this COVID period had started and the lockdown had started, one of the first things that we went out and did was a lot of workshops on this. A lot of workshops on how do you balance your life, how do you communicate with your loved ones, how do you bring them into the fold of being able to create this kind of a timetable for yourself. So it's very important to do that. It's difficult, especially if your family members do not understand where you're coming from, but it is also an opportunity. All the difficult things that we feel are opportunities for success. They're all opportunities for us to really push our boundaries. Uncertainty and being uncomfortable in your present life is actually a propeller. It is a propeller to really test your own resilience. So always keep that in mind. When things are difficult, utilize it as a lesson. When you utilize it as a lesson and you find ways to kind of supersede it, overcome it, and if you have trouble, there are professionals who can help you. Also, like at the Wellbeing Volunteers United, it's free of cost. Nobody's charging for it. So please reach out to people who can help you and guide you, because this is not a time for you to fight things alone. If you are feeling overwhelmed, remember, even though we were talking about gratitude, I'm going to take it into this space of remember that people react to situations in a different manner. There is fight, flight, and freeze. Fight is that person who, for example, I'm a fighter. The COVID became something that was very much, very grave. And in March 2020, we put together the Wellbeing Volunteers United because I wanted to fight it. I knew mental health is going to get really negative with this. I was sure that this would be a pandemic of the mind and that it would last 2 years. And I remember my husband saying, it's going to get over in 2-3 weeks and you're so negative. And I'm like, no, it's going to take more than 2 years, if that. And he didn't believe me. And I said, no, we're going to need to set up a place where we can receive people to help them with their mental health. And that's when, we mobilized a group activity and a group action, really bringing people from the Rotary Club and people from the YMCA and people from different walks of life together if they were interested in this, training them up to be able to provide this service. It was set up in a way where if things were really difficult, the psychiatrists were there for us to escalate the issues to. So any psychosis, anybody with a history of mental health illnesses, anybody who was facing suicidal ideation, automatically it was sent up to the psychiatrists. Anybody who was receiving regular therapy but was unable to go for therapy was sent up to the registered RCI therapists, and the rest, everybody who was a social worker in the space of mental health or was studying mental health or was in some way a psychologist, were all on our platform. And it's very important for you to recognize, go on there and work through your own issues. Yep, the helpline number, it's also on Facebook. It's a 1-800 number. Let me just see, 1-800-121-0980. Very important for you to just type in Wellbeing Volunteers United Wellbeing Volunteers United, and you will get the number. It's everywhere. The Goa government was using our helpline. People use our helpline for free for their organizations. If you have an organization and you want to provide this helpline, it's free of cost. Please just share the number or reach out to us, and we'll be able to provide that for you. In terms of, we'll be able to give you all the posts that can help you share that with your people in your organization. The other thing that I find very important at this point is log on to our application. We have the Round Glass app. It's called Round Glass Meditation. It's available in India at this point. Extremely well done. We have a lot of guided meditations for you on well-being, on anxiety, on stress, on gratitude. We also have a gratitude mapper. Please do go through that. Again, free of cost. Because this is the time that we're in service of people. Gratitude to all the people who are helping us build this. Please share it with your loved ones. Make sure that you reach out for your own well-being and reach out for the well-being of your loved ones, because the only thing that you can do is tune in. And one of the things that I always talk about is the radio mind. Of course, we have all these negative frequencies coming in. We're surrounded by it. It is a really difficult time when you're surrounded by these things. It's not easy. And the only way to get you to a state of balance is utilize meditation and mindfulness in the beginning of your day. Focus on that well-being right in the beginning of your day. Utilize it, like speckle it in your day. If you find things like, oh, you're grateful for somebody got you a glass of water, I'm so grateful. Just start to build that natural muscle of gratitude, because that's important. How do you build that natural muscle? Like anything else, you go work out in the gym, you're not going to automatically get strong in the first day. You build that muscle. Same way you build the muscle of gratitude. You focus on like what and how, how to get there, how to make sure that, eventually when you are, consciously and constantly making yourself available to receive grace, to receive the good things in your life, you will start to focus on, you will start to build that muscle. We are actually, as people from the subcontinent, we are lucky because we are innately groomed in a state of gratitude. We are innately groomed in that state, because I know that whenever, even in our homes and with our family members, and we'd go to somebody's house for food, or, we give something. When we finish, generally speaking, I don't know if you've had this experience, they'll pack you a little, something of the food that's left and say, Acha, you can take this home. And we always take that home. But what do we do after that? When we have to give that box back? We put something in that box and we give it back. We give them something back. That's gratitude. Turn your attitude of gratitude into your everyday practice. Use prayer, use journaling, use thankfulness, and thankfulness not only to somebody else, but thankfulness to your life, thankfulness to your existence, thankfulness to the capability that you can even be here on this platform to be watching something like this. What I realized from this COVID period, and even from the helpline and people reaching out, people cannot even talk about their pain on our helpline because they don't have the space. Sometimes the perpetrator, the person who is causing them a great amount of illness, mental illness, is right there next to them. And they cannot find the space to have that call to talk about what they're going through. And if you have that space, you're already lucky. You should already be grateful because you have that space. You have that space right now to be going through this. This is, I would be grateful for it. I'm grateful. Every day I'm grateful. I actually feel it in my bones. I feel it when I'm awake. I feel grateful. I feel grateful that I can do for others. I feel grateful like I started. I feel grateful that I'm here helping bring this conversation more to life. I feel grateful that you will take this from wherever you are, whether it's like 5 of you, 9 of you, 1 person who's on, or like 100 people who watch it later. It's all about the fact that, there's been a shift. If one person can shift, they create a momentum and shift other people. They create a momentum. If you find that person who is negative and who is constantly criticizing their life or what's happening in life, they are innately unhappy. They're innately unhappy, and you should be that person at that point, if you can, and if you have the means to either guide them to a place where they can find that peace in themselves, or if they cannot find that peace in themselves through being guided somewhere else, just have conversations with them, because you can care. Caring about another person is grace and gratitude, and being thankful that you can do it is important. If we can give another person a smile, we should be grateful to ourselves as well. We should be grateful that we can provide that. And it's very simple things. It's not monetary. It isn't rocket science either. It's just the simple things in life that we can be grateful for. And like, again, in the hymns that we learned, all things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, they're all thriving. Even during this period, we know that there have been so many videos that have come out on how the world, or rather nature, needed to heal itself, and it started to heal itself. And I think that's important, because we're all a system. We're all a system. Take care of yourself, take care of your life, take care of your loved ones, take care of your well-being, take care of your mental health, take care of your breath, and be with it. And thank you very much once again, Mompreneurs, for having me here. It's really been extremely delightful. And if you want to reach out to me, it's Prakriti Poddar _ which is my official handle on Instagram. Or you can reach out to me at any point. I'm always available because that's one of the things that keeps me in gratitude, is when I can help others. So please do reach out. I welcome you to a place where you can be yourself non-judgmentally, and where we can work together to build your resilience, your reservoir of strength, your capability of looking at life through grace, and thanking the universe for what it offers us despite the struggles that we may be going through. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.